So how are you today?
No, good. Always work's always there to work. No chance to relax. So yeah, busy.
So you're the winner of the Young Farmer of the Year, Jong Boer, from the you won Young Farmer of the Year for the TLU. That's the Transvaal Landbou Unie for 2020. That was the big news, I think, for you last year. How did you feel about winning that prestigious award?
Yeah, well, it's quite nice getting to get some recognition for what you're doing. You know, it's like the medal at the end of the race. So yeah, no, it's quite nice. Just feels that everything that I'm doing, it's you see, it's worthwhile, and it's not going by unnoticed. No, not like I don't want to say I do need I want you know, to get I can say to get a tap on the back for what I'm doing, you know, if I can say it like that. But it's not like wanted, but if you do something right, and well, some people think that what I'm doing is it's the way to go, then well, then I'm feeling good, because it motivates me to keep on doing what I'm doing. So it shows me that I'm in the right direction.
Recognition from your peers is always a wonderful thing to have, and when it's coming from the TLU, maybe it's even better. Are you a member of the TLU?
Yes, I'm a member. Ever since I finished Agricultural College in Potch, I've been a member with them, and also busy connected with organized agriculture.
And when did you finish at Potch?
That was 2004.
Okay, so how old are you now?
I'm turning 36, 37. I'm getting that. I'm at that age that I don't remember my age anymore.
you still fit into the youth category.
Yeah. Apparently, I was just at the cutoff. Yeah, so now I'm falling in the older age people now.
So finishing in 2004, you entered agriculture as a member of the internet generation, the first generation to have access to the internet right from leaving college. Do you think that has affected the way that you've approached agriculture?
Well, I've been doing with I've connected with technology from early in my years. Actually, as from age 9. My uncle was into computer programming, and weekends when he came to visit, you know, I started looking at what he's doing and chatting with him from that small age. And going as I grew up, I also did a lot of background, because I was interested in the programming that we was doing, and I was really keen on IT. And that gave me, I think, it's a big role that I had, a big advantage that I had, having the background with computers and some programming. And then when I went to the college, getting the knowledge, you know, the theoretical knowledge, and then I saw to be able to combine those two, it was really easier for me. And I think at that stage, when I finished Potch, when I came to the farm, there was a lot of new technology coming in. I think it was like, if I can call it, the first wave of farm tech. We have been having at that stage, we already had some yield maps that we were collecting on a display that we had on the combine. But at that stage also, it was not a lot. It was nice to look at it, but there wasn't too much to do with it, because we were still in a very, very early stages of, well, you get agronomists, you ask them, listen, what should I do with this? And it's like, oh, well, there are some bad spots. Let's go check the bad spots, or there's good spots. But it was still, let's guess what went wrong and what went right. Yeah. So with
yeah.
Yeah. So for me at that stage, I developed okay, I think this is what's wrong. This is the way I want to go. And it was easy for me with the knowledge then, and with the technology that was available, to start putting the two together.
So it's fair to describe you as a pioneer of agri-tech in South Africa.
Well, I think so. At that stage, I didn't have too much people that could help me with the questions that I had. They didn't have that much answers. But you had some agronomists. They had some agronomy knowledge, but you had the guys selling the equipment, and they were also, I must say, very limited. They knew, like, auto steer will make you plant straight, and we can make like a fertilizer pump. We can make it turn slower and faster, but we don't know why and how. But we can do it, but we don't know like the agronomic part behind that. But to bring the two together, that was, I think that is something that I figured out. Well, I must tell you, even at the moment, I think there's a big empty space. There are some guys climbing onto that now, but the thing with it, it's called data, data aggregation. You need a lot of years of data. The more data you have, the better the picture is becoming. So unfortunately, there's no shortcuts. I think if you can get a shortcut and it's working fine, you're getting success with it, you're really a lucky guy. But there's still a lot of void to be filled. I'm lucky that I could have been one of the early guys to start with that. I know two other guys, I'd say that started about the same time with me or just after me. And I think there's a lot of stuff that we know that a lot of people maybe still have to figure out and learn. But we're more than willing, and even I'm more than willing to show people, listen, already that's not going to work, and I think this is going to work. So I had to learn. So yeah, you can maybe call me a pioneer or just one of the early guys that was struggling with it. But yeah, I think it worked out quite good up until now.
Well, nobody actually ever sets out to be a pioneer. You just it just happens to you, I think. It's
well, I call it the Nike effect. Just do it.
Right. So now in 2021, what does precision agriculture mean to you, and how do you approach it?
Well, I call it the only sustainable way of farming for me. I think there's like a framework to it, and if you keep to that framework, it will work really good. Yeah. So, and it's not like you're going to reach a point where, okay, now I know everything, and that's how it's going to work from now on. Each year there are new varieties. There's new fertilizer research from the US. It's sad for me to say, but in South Africa, the research it's non-existent because it's not independent. But going forward every year, that actually what you learn on your own farm, in your own operation, you do apply and you better on that every year. New technology is coming in. For this year so far, I've been very fortunate to be able to be the first guy in Africa to be able to test a system that can do instantaneous multispectral readings through the technology, as it's called. I don't want to call them or name it just now at the moment, but and what that does is it takes like the readings from let's say a corn crop, and it converts it adds a value to that, and then you can apply fertilizer, nitrogen as needed instantaneously. So that's quite some new technology. For me, the biggest in my farming operation, one of the biggest cost factors is the nitrogen component, and it's also one of the most difficult things that I've seen over the years to really manage on a variable rate approach, because there's so a lot of factors that determines the efficiency of your nitrogen, and this is one of those things that I think is going to, I don't want to say 80%, but you're going to get 80% better nitrogen use and response by using that type of technology. But also it's really nice in theory, but in practice, so far it looks good, but also it's going to be maybe a 2-3 year thing that we do have to test, and just to make sure that it's working as they say it should work. But so far it really looks like that's one of the new technologies that I'm really excited about for this season coming. But apart from that, all the trials and everything that I'm doing, All of that will be is still going on. New varieties every year, population trial, fertilizer placement trials, stuff like that, forms of fertilizer. That plays a big role. Something that I've learned from my US guys that I know there, salt indexes and fertilizer, not to any two nitrogen sources, even if there are, let's say, ammonium sulfates, the salt index can be a big difference maker between the two. So that's stuff that I'm at the moment giving a lot of attention to.
It sounds like you're really quite actively involved with this research. I mean, you have your researchers developing technology in the States, and you're really testing it out in the living laboratory of your farm. Do you have a feedback loop going there? Do they take your results and also adapt their research accordingly? Do you have a dynamic collaboration, knowledge partnership?
Yes, yeah, I've got some on the precision farming products. At the moment, I'm busy with two companies that I do test some of their products, and well, I've been fortunate enough to be an alpha tester. Products that we went from from an idea to the first product, and then have it tested, and then give feedback on that, and say, listen, this and this I feel should get some attention, and they appreciate the feedback. And I also do some of the same company products that I do have. If there's anything that I think could be better, I give them the feedback, and a lot of stuff, I must say, does get implemented. And if something bothers me, I know where to look at and what to look at. So I give them the feedback, and they improve the product even more. Then I've got some of the other companies also that I'm working with. I do give them some of my agronomic data, and that is also for product development and stuff like that, and just to see usage and stuff like that. So yeah, I do work with two companies, and I do get a lot of value out of it, because it betters my way of understanding, and also it makes life easier for me, because I know this is what I want going forward. I think we're only a handful of guys that's at the moment capable of or in the position to be able to say, listen, this is something that we would like to, this is a feature that we would like, or this is some ag tech I think that we would, sorry about that, that would be a nice feature to add. Yeah, so yeah, it's a privilege to be able to do that.
I was going to ask, why are you selected as the alpha tester, and now you say that there's only a few people who are in that position. What does it take to be in that position where you are actually in the position to
bribe money? No, well, the first guys that I had, the guys from the States, from one company, they came here to visit me. They come to South Africa about 2 times a year. In the early stages when I started with the precision farming, my dealer brought them here to me, and because they want to see some of the guys that are using their tech, to see how it's applied and stuff like that. And I must say, when those guys came here, they said, listen, you're the first guy. Even in the States, they couldn't find a guy that is applying the technology to such a state that what I am doing it. Somewhere you'll find a guy that's maybe doing a bit of auto steer, a bit of that. And I think coming back to the computer knowledge that I have with the agronomic knowledge, I know how to fully combine those two using the tech that's there on. They were really impressed with what they saw, and yeah, well, it actually took off from there. They asked me if I would be willing to test some of the new products, because seeing as I have the knowledge to see on the component side, if there's something wrong with that, I do have the knowledge and I know what to look out for. And on the agronomic side, I can see what is the effect. So it's like combining the two. Yeah. So
well, people talk a lot about 4IR and agriculture 4.0, but really what you're saying, that's the essence of what it should be. Really a combination of expert agronomic agricultural knowledge, as well as the know-how and the can-do of being able to use the technology. So it's you were saying that South African institutions are not quite where they should be. and you suggested that they aren't perhaps independent. Could you say a bit more about that? Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's one of the things that, I get crucified for saying a lot of things. So, but I say, it is how it is, and I've been experiencing that for a long time. Actually, a lot of people, farmers, my friends, a lot of guys that I know, this topic is something that comes up a lot, and it is what it is. And I always say, when I start out, I said, like, when you go to Toyota is not going to tell you, listen, our buck isn't good enough, buy the Ford. That won't happen. Toyota is going to say, buy my Toyota. Ford's going to say, buy the Ford. And that's why, since we don't have an independent institution anymore doing like the LNR that was doing previous years, that were doing trials and stuff like that, we don't have that. Now you're getting, you get, like, let's say Bayer. Bayer is doing trials on their own, promoting their product. You're getting Pioneer. Pioneer is promoting, they're doing trials, promoting their products. You get Pioneer putting in, let's say, decal varieties, for an example, into their trials. And believe it or not, I've been doing it here by I had a Pioneer trial, I had a decal trial, and I had a Pannar trial. The Pannar guy will, for instance, and I'm not, just want for example, he'll bring you some Pioneer and decal old seed and put it in a trial, promote his product. And that's a big problem with independent trial data. And to apply like variable rate seeding, you need really accurate data. You don't need data that was done by, that was biased by a certain company. Fertilizer wise as well. If you go and look at the Fertasa manual now that's coming out, it's been revised again, I think. I don't use it at all anymore. I can't go in 1990, 1985 research that was done in those years. Nowadays, there's no one that can tell me, listen, this is the updated values for potassium usage, for nitrogen usage, and even taking it further, for this variety wants more nitrogen, this variety wants more potassium, or phosphate, or whatever. There isn't, that type of work isn't being done at all at the moment independently. And I put the emphasis on independently, because as soon as a company is doing it, it's promoting its own business. And that's why every farmer should do it on its own. And that's why I say every farmer, if you can, every farmer can do it in today's time, even though you do not have the ag tech, you've got pen and paper to do some really basic type trial stuff. And at least, even if it's basic, it's better than something that was done 30 years ago. I'm part of a group in the US now, where you can like register your farm. You give them like a protocol, and you do trials. They will give you like a setup protocol. You do it, those trials over there, and it's on your farm, and it's independent. And that is that's something that I'm really pushing for. That companies, they do want to do that. Every car maker wants to promote his car at any event or something like that. But farming wise, what's going to work on your farm? And I've got 3 farms that's spaced in about, let's say, 30-kilometer radius. What's working on the one farm won't work on the other farm, won't work on the next farm. If I didn't test that on my own, I would not have known what is the best thing to do, what's the best product or best variety, best approach to that farm. Now, even if there was an independent study done maybe on one of the farms, I would maybe get for that farm, okay, this is going to work on that farm if it was done independently. But if now I get, let's say, person A from company A, and he's doing the trials, I have never seen a person or from a company lose a trial. And every time, listen, my product, it's the best, and that's why it's not independent, it's very biased. And that's really sad, because the guys that I'm helping out at the moment, there's one guy, he was like, I've planted this variety, has been coming with me we've been planting it for 10 years now, and it's doing good. So I told him, listen, do you know it's good, or do you think it's good? He says, no, he knows it's good. I said, well, do you know if there's anything else that's better? And he said, no, but why? This is doing good. And I said, listen, you buy seed from the varieties, you do the trial independently on your own. And we did that, and he got a 2 ton a hectare kick in 2 years' time, just from changing out that. But afterwards, he told me, you know what? But the guy that came here that sold me that other seed was still telling me, but they saw in their trials, it is still the best one to plant. And now that wasn't the case, yeah. So, so once again, that it just shows you do need that independent side instead of listening to the research that's been given by certain companies. Yeah, in the old days we did have the LNR. They did do even by me. They did 7 years of trials until they stopped it. That was independent type data that we could get out of it. But now at the moment, you don't see that anymore. And I can't see at the moment. You go to universities or colleges. I've got a guy working for me now. He just finished university. He was there for 4 years. And he came here and I asked him a lot of stuff. I want to know what they were learning there. And it's really sad to see that what they are learning, it's outdated. I think a course, something like a course in precision ag, independent precision ag, agronomist, that is something I think that needs to be developed urgently here in South Africa. And that should be something that's done on newer type data, on newer research that's independent. And I think as soon as that's going to happen, I think the research will start being done better as what is being done at the moment.
Is there enough action research being done in agronomy? You know, researchers actually coming out to the field and working with you for a period?
Yeah, well, I've got 2 seed companies. They are actively involved with me now, and I say everybody's entitled to opinion. So when they come here and they give an opinion, I give an opinion. But at the end of the day, we've got protocols, updated protocols that I've got from the US that we use to make sure that we eliminate any variability in the field. And you know, those 2 guys that 4 guys actually that I know from these companies, they are busy with me, and it's what they see here is being done at other sites as well. So I think there is something like that that's happening, but the majority, 90% of the other guys, they come here, it's just, listen, I've got a product, let's see if it works. And it's just, you stop the sprayer there, you just add it, you spray it, you put in a marker, but there wasn't any residue testing done in the sprayer cell beforehand and stuff like that. So I think just the level of detail that goes into a lot of trials being done at some of the farms is not what it should be. So it's good if a guy comes to you and he wants to give you something to try out or test, but that's not, I won't say it's research or something that I'll use for decision making just next year. If you do get a kick out of something, just do it, repeat it next year, repeat it more scientifically, if I can call it like that, and see what causes the upkick in yield, for example, and ask that guy, the guy that brought it to you, to bring his agronomist, whoever with you, and try to get the explanation of why did it work. Because if you don't know why did it work, just maybe it was a stroke of luck.
Well, these are scientific first principles. You have to test your theory, and you have to change your decisions are informed by the research, not by what people tell you. So that's just basic first principles, which one would hope that would be more widespread than they are. So you've been talking about companies that collaborate with you. What about the tertiary institutions, the colleges, the universities? Are they not sufficiently involved in action research to bring their own knowledge up to date?
I don't know. I don't really actually know anyone from a tertiary institute to ask them, listen, how is stuff going? Well, this guy that is working now by me, during his last 2 years, I helped him out with a lot of stuff. And there's on those big soy trees that I'm growing, one of the teachers they had asked about some info on that. and I gave it through to him. And what they did with it, I don't know. But yeah, I can't. Well, looking at what he has finished last year, what he has learned it's outdated for me. So I hope, I don't know who to talk to, anyone, or ask, listen, how is stuff going? But yeah, at the moment it's just like I think it's still the old school way.
So what makes you confident that you're doing the right thing?
Well, I've got a saying, proof's in the pudding.
Right.
When we started out, me and my father, we didn't have a lot of, well, I don't want to say we've got everything now, but from where we started out to where we are now, I think if I can see what my yields are, I mean, if you run the 100 meter over 5 years of practice, every time you get better, you get the time. Your time over 100 meters will improve. You'll see that you can measure it. Yeah. Our yields when we started from when I started the way farming that I'm doing now, we've doubled our yields. So there's definitely, I think if it didn't work, I think I wouldn't have doubled my yields. I do know there are some improvements in varieties as well, but I think the big leap that I took, I don't want to compare myself to other farmers, because that's one of the biggest things. Don't use that as competition or stuff like that. But if I'm looking at just at the local yield competition that we have here, I'm looking at the yields that I'm getting and the yields that my neighbors or the other competing farmers in my area are getting. Well, then I won't go back. I won't go back to the way that I'm farming on. I think at the end of the day, the return on income, the profits are there. So it must be working, the stuff that I'm doing now.
And the people that you work with on the farm, do you make sure that they're also up to speed with the technology that you use?
Yeah, on the agronomic side, well, I must say, I don't see the need for me to explain I'm really a technical guy, to explain them the deeper technical stuff. But on the technology side, like on the tractors and stuff like that, the system that I'm using, it's really easy to operate. They've got a slogan, say it's so easy, even Dad can do it. With just all the guys that doesn't really like ag tech, and I must say, like my father, even he understands it, so it must be easy. And all the operators I do have, they understand everything that's going on. And one of my planter operators, he can really, if there's some troubleshooting to do, he does know the basic. I've showed him a few stuff, and they do understand the stuff like that. Yeah. And I try to keep them on to date, because it just makes if you know what makes a thing tick, it's really easier to manage something like that, to use it.
So would you say that farming is actually still a really good business or career for young people to get into?
Well, I think everything, if you want to do it correctly, and if you enjoy doing what you're doing, doesn't matter if you're farming or whatever you are. But farming, yes, it does have its challenges, but everything is manageable. And apart from politics is the one I don't know how to say, but yeah, that's something we can't manage. But farming-wise, you have to look at the return on investment. I think a lot of the younger guys, they just want to jump into ag tech because it's looking nice. I've got a nice this and a nice that, and I've got end row shutoffs and stuff like that. Well, if you want to go into it like that because it's looking nice, well, I hope we've got a lot of money, because it's not going to work. But if you're going into it and you see, okay, but listen, I've got this display, it's saving me money because I'm using it to variable rate fertilizer economically. And the end rows, it's not because it's nice. Well, it does look nice, but I'm saving seed. If you have that approach, and there's a certain way that you should start. I call it the triangle. At the bottom, you start to solve fertility. If you go into it in the right direction, you do it correctly from bottom to top, it definitely it will work. I know of guys that they just went on it's 3 years now. They were still just on the old conventional way of farming because his grandfather did it like that, his father did it like that. he jumped into it. He bought auto steer. He approached it from the wrong side. He bought auto steer. He bought section control. All of that. It's like, yeah, it's nice. You do save a bit here and there, but it's not that big of a kick that he was hoping to see. And I told him, listen, but there you won't see it because there's like a way to do it. And we started out with started out with the liming and the yield maps, and as soon as we did it, going from there to the top, it changed his whole operation, and he made a lot of his yields are really going up now. And then you're getting, you know, return on what you're doing, and it's more. It wasn't just a nice ag tech; it was really going somewhere with your operation. Yeah. So I think farming wise, even if you're farming cattle, you just don't go and buy the biggest, nicest genetics that if you can afford it, then you can do it. But otherwise, get good genetics, and you get a goal, and you move toward that goal. Yeah. Then it'll work. Well, anything. I think it doesn't matter what you're doing. If you have a goal and you know you've got a plan to get that goal, then it will work. Yeah. But and it's not always the shortest path or the easiest path. You do have to take a U-turn somewhere, maybe here and there, to get to get somewhere. To the success at the end. Yeah. Well, the end won't never get to the end as long as you live. But if you think that it's a straight line from starting here and you're going to be successful in 5 years, it's not saying it will be possible, but you have to know about the ups and downs in between to get to that point. Yeah. And I think as long as you realize that there is going to be some hurdles to overcome, then go into farming. Because don't expect, if you think there's no hurdles, don't go and farm. It's not that easy. We say it's in your blood. I think it is in your blood. If you're born on a farm, I think from day one is you're learning. Listen, there's more hurdles in farming than there is maybe straights. But even if you weren't into farming, you were born into farming, you will still be able to make a success of it, just depending on how much effort you're going to put into it, just as anything else.
Your triangle, is that the same as the 3 cornerstones when it comes to soy farming, planting date, soil biology, and variety? Is that your triangle?
Well, I'd rather say it's more like levels, starting from soil. Mm-hmm. Soil is everything. Actually, below soil, the biology beneath the soil. That's the most important part. If you don't have fertile soils, you won't get really good yields. So if you finish, just get your soil in place and soil fertility. If you've got that right, then you move to the next step. Get the right, variety. Then you can get, okay, I want the right fertilizer, then a variety, and you go up. And then when you get to the top, then you can start shaping. You can start putting up more, I don't want to say expensive, but more stuff that's going to be little ROI, because the closer you get to the top, the increments for that little more improvement gets, it's more difficult to get those fine tuning. And sometimes you get to a point where you have to really buy some maybe expensive ag tech on a planter or something like that for those smaller improvements. But you can't, like I always say, you can't buy the best planter, kit it out with precision planting tech, everything, or whichever brand you like. You can't take that planter and you can go to the beach. You can use that planter, you can plant on the beach. You won't get any yield because you can't plant into beach sand. It's not fertile. But you can take an old planter, even though it's not going to give you 100% singulation or whatever, but you can take that old planter and you can go and plant into fertile soil. And I can promise you, you will still get a really decent crop out of it. So that's why I say start at the bottom and go to the top. Don't try it the other way around. Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time today. That's been really interesting. Great stuff. Voorspoed, good luck.
Dankie, and thanks to you. I hope there was something that was worth your while. So sometimes I do get carried away with a lot of stuff. I've got another meeting with the Americans tonight at from 5 o'clock to 2 o'clock tomorrow morning. For them it's
a long meeting.
2 o'clock Eastern time. So actually, I appreciate the English now. So now I'm warmed up for the English tonight now.
You have nothing to worry about for your English at all.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you so much. Good luck for your meeting, and I hope many farmers are inspired by example and learn that there is no technological silver bullet. You have to start with the basics, but then once you apply knowledge, technology, and the necessary hard work, then you start to see spectacular successes. Thank you so much.
Okay. That's it. Thank you. Talk again. Okay.